BookTube, my name is Elizabeth and welcome back to the Owlery. Today I'm going to be bringing you my TBR for series September. So if you guys haven't heard, I announced a couple of weeks ago that I'm going to be hosting series September, which is basically like this little chill readathon throughout the month where you just read a whole bunch of series or finish out all of the series that you're in the middle of. So I'm hoping that I can get finished with a bunch of series between now and the end of September. I have a really crazy TBR. There's of course a couple of review books that I need to read before the end of the month, and then I decided that my initial TBR was going to be all of the series that I have one book left in. And it was a lot more than I thought. So let's go ahead and get started. The first book is Matanzas Moon Ablaze, which is the second book in the Matanzas Moon series by Elizabeth Raven. I loved the first book in this series. It was set in St. Augustine, which is my hometown, and it had magic and mystery, and it was just so good. I will link my monthly wrap-up up here somewhere for you guys if you want to check out my thoughts on that one. The next book that I'm going to read is called Devil's Due by Jennifer Sidaway. This is the second book in the Dealing with the Devil series, and I read that book a couple of months ago, and I absolutely loved it. It is an urban fantasy, a young adult urban fantasy about this girl who finds out that her mom kept a secret from her, and it has fae and fairies and demons and angels, and just, it was really good. If you're a fan of City of Bones, this was better than City of Bones in my opinion, so I would definitely check it out. I loved this story and I cannot wait to read the second one. Then I want to read Midnight Star by Marie Lu. This is in her Young Elite series, and I read the first two books in this series a while back, and I really wanted to read this third one, but it just kept getting put to the bottom of the list. I really liked the first book. The second book was so I was worried about this third one. Honestly, I've forgotten a lot of what this book is about, but I know it has to do with an anti-hero. Then Behold the Bones by Natalie C. Parker is the second book in the Beware the Wild duology. I loved Beware the Wild. It was kind of creepy and spooky, and maybe I'll read this one at the end of the month to kind of get me geared up for October, and I just really enjoyed this one. I've been dying to read the second book in this duology for forever, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. The Death Code is the second book in the Murder Complex series by Lindsay Cummings. I read the Murder Complex a while ago because Chloe, my BFF, told me that I needed to read it. It was really good, and she was right. It was fantastic, and I have no idea why I haven't read the Death Code yet. The Ship Beyond Time by Heidi Lig is the second book in the Girl From Everywhere series, another book that I really enjoyed. It has time travel and ships and a mystery to be solved, and I just really loved this book. It's really big, maybe that's why I have been kind of hesitant to start it, but I'm gonna read it this month. Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken. Time travel, mysteries. I loved the first one, very similar to The Girl From Everywhere. I read them at the beginning of last year. God, this book is heavy. My TBR is insane, you guys. But again, I really loved the first one. I'm gonna read the second one this month. Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. I was one of the very few people who wasn't a big fan of Truth Witch, but I'm willing to give Wind Witch a try because I did like the magic system and how the world was set up. I just wasn't a fan of the writing style, I believe, and but I'm gonna give this second book a try and hopefully that I enjoy it more than Truth Witch. Battle Mage by Taryn Matharu. I loved the Summoner series. The first two books were amazing. This is about this kid who goes to school, a magic school basically, and in order to have help with their magic, they have these demons. And our main character's demon is like this little, I don't know if you can see it on the cover, but it's like this little dragon thing. And so they're more like Pokemon that kind of help you out and stick with you. You think of demons and you think that they're like these big, bad, ugly creatures, and it's not like that. So I really enjoyed the first two books in the series. I did it for a BookTube tour last year, and I was really excited when they sent me this next one to review as well, and I just didn't have the time to read it at that point in time, but I love this series and I'm excited to finally finish it out. King's Cage by Victoria Aveyard. I have it over here, but I don't feel like pulling it out from under the stack. I really liked Red Queen. Glass Sword, not so much. So I've been putting it off reading King's Cage for a while. The way that she wrote this world was just beautiful, and I really like the idea of the story. It's just the main character is so annoying. So we'll see if I read this one this month because I want to. I'm just so hesitant about reading that main character. Wishgranter by CJ Redwine is the sequel to this book that I can't think of the name of right now at the moment, but I really loved the first book. I think it's a Snow White retelling, and I remember loving the antagonist in this story. She was just one of those evil villains that you love to hate. It reminded me a lot of the way Marissa Meyer wrote the Lunar Chronicles series, the way she wrote Levana, because they're just so evil. There's like nothing that you can do to make it so that they're okay. But I love hating her, and CJ Redwine is an amazing author, and I cannot wait to see where she goes with the rest of the series. As Old as Time by Liz Braswell is the next book in the Twisted Tales series, which is a companion series of fairy tale retellings, which I loved. The first one, which was a retelling of Aladdin, and it's very, it's published by Disney Hyperion, so this version is very close to the Disney animated version of the story, but with one big twist. Like, for example, in Aladdin, the story asked the question is, what if Jafar found the lamp before Aladdin, and how would that work out? And it was just so amazing, and I loved it. And then their next one was Sleeping Beauty, and now they have Beauty and the Beast. So Beauty and the Beast is my favorite, and I don't know why I've put off reading this one for so long. Just not had the time, I guess, but I'm really excited to finally get to it. Sun by Lois Lowry in the Giver series. I love the first 3 books. The third one was not my favorite, but I'm really hoping, I've heard a lot of people say that the 4th one really wraps up the story as a whole, so I'm excited to see how it ends, finally. Ignite Me by Tahara Mafi. Again, I really enjoyed the first 2 books in this series, and she's coming out with a new book, a companion in this series from what I've heard, and so I really want to finish this one before that comes out. Fireblood is the next book in the Frostblood series by Ellie Blake. This Frostblood was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. It was just typical YA fantasy. There was nothing really special about it, but I'm definitely going to read the second one to see where it goes, because I really did like the writing style, and I thought it was very well written. Blood of Wonderland by Colleen Oakes. I loved this one. I think this is published somewhere else, because the third one is already out, but it's not out in the US yet. I read the first one recently, and it was absolutely fantastic. I need to get to this one soon. Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna McGuire. Shauna McGuire has definitely become one of my most favorite authors recently, and I love that this book is so short. Probably going to be one of the very first books that I read for series September, and I love it. I love Shauna McGuire. Her Twitter is amazing, and I just cannot wait to get to this one. Home by Mindy Okorafor. I'm probably butchering her name, I'm sorry. This is science fiction set very far in the future about a person of color main character, a woman person of color. I love the future that the author created in this story, and I like that it had aliens and it was very sci-fi, but then again, the main character came from a very small village, and she had never left her home until she was trying to go to university. The second book ended pretty well. There was no cliffhanger or anything like that, and so I didn't even know that this was going to have a next book in a series, but now that I know that there is one, I need to get to it very soon. I read Starfall by Melissa Landers last year for the Young Adult BookTube Awards. I don't remember if it won or not, but I read it and I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed it, so I went out and got myself a copy. Bought Starfall. I'm excited to read this one. Obsidian Stars by Julie Eschbach is the sequel to Ivory and Bone, and this is a romance novel set in prehistoric times, and I did not like it as much as I was hoping. It also has a second book in the series, which I just don't understand why it needed a second book in the series, but I'm gonna give it a try. Frostlike Night by Sarah Rosh. I also don't want to get it out because it's all the way at the bottom of this stack. I absolutely loved the magic system of this story. Probably one of my favorite magic systems of all time. Each different area of land is a different season, winter, fall, spring, summer, and they all have different magical powers that the ruler of that area of land uses to make their area better. And it was really interesting, and I ate up the first 2 books, and I've been putting off reading the third one because I don't want it to end for so long. One Dark Throne by Kendar Blake. I didn't like 3 Dark Crowns as much as I was hoping to like it, and I was super bummed about that. But funny story is, one of the characters is named after me because I won a contest, and it's a big long story, so I feel like I need to read it. I feel like I'm obligated to Kendar Blake to read this book because there's a character named after me in there. Train to the Throne by Elwyn Hamilton. I don't want to read this just because of the cover change. I really like Rebel of the Sands, and I just am not. I don't want to read it because it's huge and the cover change sucks, and why publishers, why do you do this to us? And finally, last but not least, Now I Rise by Kristen White is the second book in the And I Darken series, and I did not like Anti-Darken. I was super bummed about that, but I got an arc from the publisher, so I figured I'd go ahead and give it a try. Alright, that is my ridiculously ambitious series September. My goal is to finish as many of these series as I possibly can. All of them only have one book left to be finished, or if I'm gonna catch up on them, and so I'm hoping that I can kill it this month and finish all of the series. My goal for 2017 was to finish 10 series, so if I read all of these in 1 month, I will like destroy that goal. So wish me luck, you guys. Let me know if you're participating in series September down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.